So, you want to dip your toes into silent movies, or maybe you're just looking to expand your watch list after checking out a Chaplin or Keaton film. Well, you're definitely in the right place, because I've curated a list of 24 silent movies, broken down in 12 different genres. I give 2 films that are currently available to stream, rent, or watch for free online. So no matter your interest or your knowledge of film or its history, there'll be at least one film in this video that's going to scratch your itch. If you want to get to see all 24 suggestions, from animation to westerns, keep watching the video as is. If you want to jump ahead to your favorite genre for 2 tailored recommendations, skip ahead using this guide's timestamps, or use the chapter headings on the video's timeline. If you're not skipping ahead, I'll give a brief minute intro to silent movies and then run through each genre alphabetically. And while you're watching, go ahead and like and subscribe for even more silent and classic movie content. When inventors cracked the code and produced the first projected moving images in the 1890s, with the technological limitations of their day, syncing sound to moving images was still impossible. Films didn't need dialogue, however, quickly becoming a global phenomenon, growing from minute-long day-in-the-life clips to short narrative stories and fantasies to lavishly produced big-budget epics. Silent movies were known simply as movies then, a perfect escape for millions and millions of people around the world. When advances in technology brought sound to the movies in the late 1920s, silent films were often forgotten, discarded, and some even lost forever. But thanks to archivists, historians, and enthusiasts, that's me, numerous silent films have not only survived, but remain a cultural force. Far from outdated relics, silent movies remain vibrant, emotional, and endlessly inventive, offering something for everyone willing to give them a chance. Now, you'll have no excuse to not try out silent movies, as you'll have a choice between 12 different genres and 24 films. So without further ado, let's get to our first genre. The first animated feature film, made a decade before Disney's 1937 Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, was a labor of love, taking 3 years to make. Using a technique similar to stop motion, German animator Lotte Reiniger cut out intricately designed, handcrafted shadow puppets, set off by a wide array of beautifully tinted color backgrounds. The lavish adaptation of 1001 Nights' Tales paints a unique, colorful world that is as astonishing today as it was when it was released 100 years ago, that any animation fan will fall in love with. You can't go wrong with pioneering animator Winsor McKay's revolutionary short cartoon bringing his trademark dinosaur character to life. When early animators had to sketch hundreds of nearly identical images, even to make the shortest film, the cartoonist McKay introduced such techniques as keyframes, tracing paper, and animation loops that would become the industry standard in animation for decades. Not only essential viewing for understanding the history of animation, Gertie the Dinosaur is also easy to fall in love with, and anybody, even outside of the animation fandom, is going to have a good time watching this. Comedy never worked better than in the era of the slapstick clowns. Running at a breezy 45 minutes, Buster Keaton's tale of a young man desperate to become a detective and impress his girlfriend is a non-stop laugh factory that never overstays its welcome. Keaton's physical humor combines with his unique command over cinematic language to create surrealist gags. Of particular note, a truly bonkers 20-minute dream sequence where he walks straight into a movie that will make you bust a gut while wondering how on earth he pulled it off. Charlie Chaplin's bowler hat, cane, and signature mustache are the defining symbol of not just silent comedy, but silent film in general. There's a good reason for that. He's a comic genius. His short, Easy Street beautifully showcases his unmatched comedic talent, delivering gag after gag, while combining genuine pathos through his realistic characters and moving drama of a poverty-stricken downtown street that mirrored his own impoverished upbringing. By the time World War I broke out in 1914 Europe, film had already become a worldwide industry, dominated by narrative fiction. Taking a page out of the earliest filmmakers, who continuously shot documentary footage, 2 British government filmmakers traveled to the British and French trenches to document life as a soldier. While the film avoids showing gruesome war scenes and leans more heavily into propaganda, its behind-the-scenes footage of war is a perfect showcase of film's ability to capture fleeting moments for future generations. When filmmakers first started projecting moving images for paying audiences, most films were a minute short and documented everyday life. These earliest films, over 125 years old, are still breathtaking in their simplicity, capturing an era long gone from our cultural memory. There's no better way to soak up that spirit of the first films than watching the fathers of cinema, the Lumiere brothers, and their 10-film program, shown to their first paying audience on December 28, 1895. You'll be not just experiencing bygone life in the gay 90s, but the very birth of cinema itself. Long before rabid Marvel fans packed cineplexes to watch heroes defy the rules of gravity, the athletic Douglas Fairbanks dominated the box office in the 1920s with his extravagant and thrilling costume adventures. His Arabic Nights tale boasts larger-than-life sets, mystical spells, demonic dragons, and magic carpet rides that set the bar high for special effects and big-budget fantasy features for years to come. A rocket landing into the eye of the moon is the most iconic image of early cinema, and perhaps even of silent film in general. Georges Méliès' 12-minute film showed the world the endless possibilities of imagination that only movies could create. And yes, that's period-accurate color you see there, hand-drawn on the film frame by frame, showing the cinematic possibilities of color decades before Dorothy ever entered Oz. Modern audiences might be more familiar with the original 1932 gangster staple Scarface, but the gangster genre first developed in the silent era. Joseph von Sternberg's shadow-filled tale of the Underworld is loosely based on the real-life gangster, Terrible Tommy O'Connor, who disappeared 3 days before his execution date for gunning down a Chicago police officer in 1923. Released just as sound appeared in theaters around America, director von Sternberg codifies many of the tropes of the young genre, leaving audiences with a fun ride of ruthless gangs, corrupt lawyers, and ruffians competing for the same woman's love. Shot on location in the overcrowded tenement houses of the New York's Lower East Side, Regeneration brings an earnest authenticity to the impoverished main character Owen, who, as an orphan, joins a crime syndicate as his only option to escape his crippling poverty. Falling in love with a social worker seeking to uplift the city, Owen is torn between the exotic life of a gangster and his newfound love. The film weaves together a gritty portrait of early 20th century immigrant communities that later gangster films could only recreate, while also telling an empathetic tale of love and redemption. Heralded as one of the great silent movies, King Vidor's harrowing portrait of the World War I battlefront follows a group of young American men as they face the unrelenting life in the trenches. The modern war picture owes a lot to Vidor's distinctive storytelling, slowly building up from the patriotic fever at the home front to the camaraderie and naivety of the young soldiers in general training, and finally showing the absolute chaos and danger of trench warfare. Even within this tragedy, the Big Parade still finds levity and romance, never sacrificing entertainment while portraying the harsh realities of war. Years before directing his epic 1956 Technicolor wonder, The Ten Commandments, Cecil B. DeMille brought the story of Joan of Arc to life. One of Hollywood's first great directors, DeMille utilizes large sets and thousands of extras to give Hollywood one of its first classic historical epics. With large battles and a hero for the ages, Joan the Woman remains just as enthralling as today's historical epics. Best known for his transformational roles in the original Hunchback of Notre Dame and The Phantom of the Opera, Lon Chaney shines in The Penalty as a sinister crime lord, traumatized when a young doctor accidentally amputates both of his legs as a young child. Tying his own legs behind his back and walking with his knees in wooden buckets for his performance, Chaney sells the absolutely absurd plot in a fascinating showcase of the horror icon he would later become. A bizarre bundle of fun, perfect for any fan of the macabre. Filmed over 2 years, at a time when many performers would crank out dozens of short films over the course of a year, The Inferno was a massive undertaking in 1911, running 10 minutes over an hour. Based loosely on Dante's Inferno, the film utilizes double exposure and early special effects to depict a hell that still gives you the creeps over 110 years later. Long before celebrity couples got special couple names and appeared all over tabloids, there was Greta Garbo and John Gilbert. Involved briefly off-screen and pairing in 4 movies together, Garbo and Gilbert show off their on-screen chemistry best in this 1926 tale of forbidden love, set in a picturesque Gothic Europe with some absolutely stunning cinematography. Mary Pickford, then known the whole world over as the girl with the golden curls and one of the first worldwide celebrities, delivers not one but 2 great performances in this heavenly female-centric film that passes the Bechdel test with flying colors. Decades before green screens and digital technology, cameraman Walter Stradling expertly combined shots of Pickford's 2 characters on screen, a testament to the technical craft achieved in cinema's earliest years. Best known for dangling from a clock in his 1923 comedy classic Safety Last, Harold Lloyd was one of the most consistent and talented comedians of the silent era, outgrossing both Chaplin and Keaton's films in the 1920s. In his most heartwarming comedic romance, Lloyd plays opposite Jobina Ralston, combining physical, slapstick comedy and thrilling athletic stunts with a heartfelt romantic plot that set the template for the romantic comedy genre for years to come. Alongside creating the iconic bumbling Keystone Cops and giving Chaplin his start in film, Keystone Studios also produced a string of wonderful films featuring greats Mabel Normand and Roscoe Arbuckle as romantic partners. Relying less on slapstick and more on a humorous, dynamic relationship between Mabel and Roscoe, Fatty and Mabel Adrift perfectly encapsulates this pair's great chemistry and unique humor that contains all the heart of your favorite romantic comedies distilled in a tight half hour. Eight years before Willis O'Brien gave birth to King Kong, the special effects pioneer brought large-scale dinosaur fights to the screen. With shots combining humans and stop-motion dinosaurs together, The Lost World sparked the imagination of filmmakers around the world, paving the way for subsequent monster films that would become popular decades later. Sometimes sci-fi eerily predicts aspects of societies decades before they become realized. Other times, science fiction films miss the mark completely. This French sci-fi comedy falls squarely in the latter category, giving us a ridiculous future where policemen yank criminals off the street from blimps with 100-foot-long claws. Its early crude special effects add to the insanity, and prove the future shouldn't always have to take itself too seriously. The most infamous silent film is no doubt D.W. Griffith's abhorrently racist epic The Birth of a Nation. Much less known is a black pioneer Oscar Michaud's Within Our Gates, the oldest surviving feature film directed by a black filmmaker. Filmed on a shoestring budget and endangered by antagonist Southern censors and theater distributors, Michaud captures various black perspectives amidst the racism of early 20th century America. The film's climactic scene directly references the Birth of a Nation's rape scene, showing that racism did not go unchallenged back in the day, and that early filmmakers were never ones to shy away from uncomfortable topics. Before large studios like MGM and 20th Century Fox dominated the Hollywood film industry of the 1920s, women were routinely found behind the cameras in the 1910s. Lois Weber, one of the many female directors successful at Universal Studios, directed some of the decade's best films, often tackling controversial social issues of the Progressive Era. Where Are My Children's blunt depiction of abortion, although very much of her time, eugenics, is brutally honest and mature, never sacrificing entertainment value in bringing Weber's viewpoint on the issue across. Starring a young Gary Cooper and directed by journeyman director Henry King, who both worked until the 1960s, the winning of Barbara Wurtz's yellow-tinted desert hills perfectly captured the arid southwestern landscape of the Wild West. Using miniatures and stunning action sequences, the film recreates the 1905 flooding of the Salton Sea that submerged 2 towns underneath water, proving that man will never fully be able to conquer nature. People tend to dismiss early westerns as simple good man wears white hat, bad man wears black hat yarns, reminiscent of a simpler time when men could be men. Hell's Hinges proves that's not the case, perfectly happy at home with a ruthless gunslinger anti-hero as its protagonist. William S. Hart's outlaw with a heart of gold makes sure to wreak havoc and start a fire or two on his way to reform for the love of a woman with nary a white hat in sight. So there you have it, 24 films with a mix of feature-length and short films that you can watch right now here on YouTube. Check out my playlist of these films or see the video's descriptions for links and, when available, what service that they are currently streaming on. If you want even more suggestions and to learn more about silent movies, go ahead and give me a follow, and let me know down in the comments after you watch a suggestion what you thought of the movie. Again, thanks for watching, and best of luck on your journey into silent films. You got a lot of great stuff ahead of you to discover.